When do we get that secret? I want to phase in and out. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I want to speed.
Walking through some walls and stuff. Heck yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, George, we got a few people that's probably going to be loading on here real shortly. And I wanted to invite you both here to kind of, we have a Q&A call every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And today, guys, we got a special guest, George, from the corporate office, executive vice president of the company. So it's our honor and pleasure to have you on here with us, George. And we also have Ron Spence, the master distributor of Limbic Arc. So we got a powerhouse on the call today, guys.
Well, thank you,
guys.
I'm glad to be here, and you know what? It's fun to get into some of this stuff. It's fun to see where all the work is really happening. Sometimes I see a lot of it from the corporate side and what we're doing and what's coming down the pipeline. But thank you for inviting me in. It's fun to join in.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's just start it off like this, George. Why don't you give us a little bit about yourself, your background, and where do you see the company headed in the future?
Okay. Well, my background, I've been in business my whole career. I've been working with different companies, and marketing is kind of where I've spent most of my time. Had a few fun things that have taken place. If you guys have ever seen, I was one of the early success stories in social media. If you guys have ever seen you've probably all seen some of my early work when I started up work with a little blender company called BlendTech. And that was a little bit of fun. We put a little mark in the world on that one. And I've worked with several companies, been fortunate to have worked with several companies during my career, had a ton of success. And now what's happened, I've been here with Zyto, it's been just over 9 years now. And I've been doing a lot of different things within Zyto. And then a couple of years ago, it was when Limbic Arc started up. I was with Zyto. I started in the marketing. Before you knew it, I had all of the sales and marketing. And I spent a couple of years building our overseas business and setting up our offices overseas and doing different things. And I still manage that piece of the business. But Limbic Arc is a fun, exciting piece that we're working on right now. And, it's been going on for, we came out of our beta here last summer. We've had a few bumps and starts, but boy, we've got such a great product. We've got so much potential, and it's just an exciting, fast-moving, fast-paced environment. And we have really, really high expectations with what Limbic Arc's going to be able to do.
Sweet. That's awesome. That's awesome. And what parts have you opened up? I know you opened up in Ireland, right?
Mm-hmm. So we put a building in Ireland, and ultimately, I believe Limbic Arc will probably be an Ireland company. We're working on that right now. To have a legal business in Ireland, it requires a few things. You have to literally have employees, you have to have a facility, you have to have someone on the board of directors, there's all kinds of taxing things that take place. It's quite a process to set up an overseas business in Ireland. By the way, now that Brexit has taken place, Ireland is the only English-speaking country in the European Union. So it's kind of interesting. And right now, Limbic Arc is being managed out of the States, and so it's a U.S. company. Our hope is that if we can get things taken care of the way we would like, ultimately that may transfer, and Limbic Arc will literally become an Ireland company. One of the reasons we have the ability to do that is we don't have a physical product, and so it allows us to set up in a way that makes the most sense in terms of reach, exposure, and accessibility. And right now, Ireland seems to be a good place for us.
Okay.
Well, if you can call the Irish English language English, that's a stretch. But and I can say this: I'm half Irish. We have a
Start of-
local newscaster here in Utah that speaks Irish, and man, it's a struggle to hear what she's saying. Her brogue is so strong.
Nice.
Well, you know, if you get our office in Ireland is right in Dublin. It's not far from Temple Bar, if you've ever been in the Dublin area. And yeah, it's you have to ask people to slow down. That's for sure. It's hard to understand at times.
Wow. Sorry about that, guys.
Hey George, you know what I figured out to have a good reception at my end here? What I do is I have to come in twice. If you go along the talk, you'll see Ron in here twice. What I do is I have to come in over my phone and just use the voice, and then I come in over my computer for the picture, and then I click off the sound on the internet on my computer, and I actually have the best of both worlds. They can see me, and they can actually hear me better through my phone.
Yes,
over the phone.
He has a DJ voice going on there.
There we go.
Nice. So
Am I coming through? Am I coming through here? Are you able to hear me all right?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
You're excellent, visual and audio.
Those that just joined us, we have George, the Vice President of Limbic Arc, on the line. He's a special guest for us. So I want you guys all to say hi to George.
Hi, George.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, I met George when I went down there in person. It was really cool to meet you, George. Appreciate all the knowledge and benefits. I want you to share a little bit more about Limbic Arc with these guys. You know, they're just coming on board, they're getting excited, and it's awesome to hear from someone from the corporate office, you know?
Well, you know, Limbic Arc is really a story about Dr. Von Cook, and he's been in this business with some of the companies he started up a long time. You go back into his history, and he's an Oriental medical doctor, and he has taken a blend of Eastern and Western medicine and learned a lot of things. And there are a lot of people that will have their enlightenment come through different ways. That was his path. You know, he had some personal struggles that brought him to that point, and he started to learn these things. And his passion has been to be able to create systems and processes so that people can enjoy the things that he's learned. You know, there's a lot of power in some of these tools, and by building apps and by building systems that allow other people to participate in that has been just one of the fulfilling parts of his life. And so it's easy to get lost with Dr. Cook. I always feel a little bit overwhelmed when he talks, because there are some things that you know, on my path that are monumental for me, and I'll talk to him about it, and he says, "Oh, I've known about that. You know, I'm glad to see you're finally understanding," kind of thing. But it's exciting to see what's happening. We're kind of caught here between what we can do, you know, with our processes, with systems and everything, with the limitations that we have, and what we want to do. And I would tell you that in Dr. Cook's mind, there are a lot of things that we're actively working on that are just going to make this technology even better and better. And so it's a front row seat into the future for sure. Every day you can see amazing things coming down the road. And when you look at what we already have with Limbic Arc, it's almost mind-blowing. But guys, it's just going to get better and better. It's amazing once you start down this path how far it can go.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm excited to be in the front row seat, you guys. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to be in the front row seat. We're like spearheading this, you know, like I was telling these guys that, you know, we're under 4,000, you know, people on the team right now that's actually utilizing this technology. And this is just the beginning. You know, we're like on training wheels right now with this company. So we have some pretty good seeding, and I just see this stuff exploding all across the globe, you know, especially with what the team that we're building on right now from all over the globe. Malcolm, how you doing? We got the vice president on the call, my friend.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Great to be here with you guys. Sorry I'm late. Just doing a Facebook Live and just really busy, but great to be here. Great to see you, Ron Spence.
Great to be here. You guys got to look at George yesterday. As we took a mini tour of the company, so most of you got to see the facilities here, and George in his office in his native habitat.
We did, man. And you know what's even a bigger blessing? And all the abundance from today, it spilled over into him being live with us today. What a blessing. Thank you, George.
You know, when you come to this Q&A call, you don't know what to expect. You might have Dr. Cook, Ron Spence. Now you got George, Vice President. So you guys stay glued to it. I'm trying to tell you, pretty soon we're going to have some info boosts in here, specialty info boosts that's going to explode your business. You never know. So, George, let me ask you a quick question. What is your favorite info boost?
Favorite info boost, hands down, focus.
Whoa.
That's the one that I've had the most success with. I've had a lot of success with a lot of different boosts, and I can tell you stories about all of them. My favorite, though, has got to be focus. If there's stuff that I'm trying to deal with, if there is a challenge, something that just requires that little extra, I will sit down and we'll turn on the focus info boost, and I'll make sure the Spark Scan is an amazing enhancement to that. In fact, I'll go back, this has been quite a few months ago. We had a meeting that I required everybody attending to have a little special attention. And so I told them, I want everybody to take out your phones, and I want everybody to go into the app. And of course, everybody thought I was just going to be showing, you know, some new feature or something. I said, I want everybody to go in and find a focus info boost and activate it. And so everybody went and activated a focus info boost. And then I said, okay, you can put your phones down. Now we'll go through the agenda.
Hey guys, I wanted to, I've told you this story before. Now he's corroborating it. As you well know, I've told this story to you directly about this guy at the company that told us to do that. That was my first experience in using focus. But George caused me to lose a night of sleep that night because I forgot that I had it running, and I could not go to sleep that entire night. I had all this energy all night. So I figured out what was going on. So I blamed that one on George.
Well, I needed your focus, bro. See, how that focus was helping.
Exactly.
See?
Well, just know that's when I discovered that certain info boosts have to be run during the day and certain ones have to be run at night. And that was, I think focus is probably the most powerful one that people can see a difference real quick.
Yeah, I would have to agree to that.
Well, I will tell you that there are some other ones. There's some other boosts that have been very good. You know, I've gone through my first winter season so far without even missing a beat, without missing a day. I have had no sick days. I love the inflammation boost. I love the immunity boost. Those are some that I use all the time. Right now, I'm my back. I was shoveling some snow. We had a pretty good storm that came down, and I kind of threw my back out just a little bit. So right now, my info boost that I'm running is the pain and inflammation info boost. But the good thing is guys, I'm drinking this Kool-Aid, you know, and I'm having personal life-changing experiences. And I would say that one of the things that I think from my perspective is important is that we don't just use this as like the medicine cabinet. You know, you go in, you take something to deal with the pain, and then you wait till the pain comes back, and then you use it again. I believe that there's a little more of a wellness aspect to this, and I would expect down the road you're going to start seeing a little bit more where we're not just using the info boost just for what we're needing right now, but we actually have a wellness path that has more than a 14-day window, right? Our info boost right now lasts 14 days. You know, I'm thinking you know, a month, 2 months, 6 months, maybe even a year? You know, are there things that we could do as part of a regular cycle just to help elevate our lives, everything about what we do? And the fact that we've got something as close as our pocket as our phone, the device that we carry with us everywhere, to access and to tap into that, guys, that is what's monumental. And that's why this is such a cool opportunity.
Wow.
Hey guys, I'll say amen to that, because I wanted to share with you what George was talking about. You know, during the winter months, every single winter, I always get sick of something. And this winter, nothing, zero. All my family members around me, my kids, my grandkids, my wife, and my wife hardly ever gets sick. And this year she got sick, and they were all commenting, how come Grandpa doesn't get sick? He's never got sick this year. And it's just like, you know, an extension of, you know, I've shared with you my asthma story, and where that's now gone. And it's just an amazing technology. For me, it's been a remarkable experience, and I'm living it. And I can tell you there's a lot going on here. Hey, maybe, guys, we need to introduce George to our Black Market InfoBoost website that we have, where we have the good stuff, okay? And he could maybe try out some of that stuff. It's called quantumenergyinfo.com. There we go.
They got those specialties right there.
Exactly.
That's
by the way,
one of our
I shared some. Go ahead, George.
I just say one of our important things here is, guys, we want to make sure that we're building a tool that's usable, and if we want to build a tool that we can function with. Now, the space that we're in is an interesting space. Zyto is regulated by the Food and Drug Administration. We actually have a Class 2 medical device, and the cool thing about that is we have expertise and the ability to navigate things in a safe and a sustainable place. And so I'm sure that there are people that are using this tool in ways that I probably can't even comprehend. But what you're going to hear from us are things that are compliant, duplicatable, and sustainable. And so just know that our goal is to make this a tool that's going to be available for you in the long run. So,
and that's very important, George, because, you know, people always question that, you know, they want to get into something, they want to go all in, they want to be able to hang their hat with a company. And these are the type of, you know, questions they ask. How long has the company been in business? And like Zyto's been in business for 16 years. So they've been, you know, obviously being very, you know, compliant to operate in that industry. So I'm excited to hear that, you know, teaming up with you guys is something that we could hang our hat on, and we don't have to worry about, you know, the regulatory shutting us down or anything in that nature, because you guys are doing things above board and compliant.
well, it makes it frustrating sometimes because people would like to say things, and people are having, you know, amazing personal experiences. But I'm telling you, from a corporate perspective, what we're going to talk about are the things that are clearly available for us to talk about, things that are sustainable. So anyway, I just so you know, use the tool in any way that that is going to work for you. But we're really going to focus in and highlight on what we can. Like I say, we know what it's like to have the FDA knock on the door and say, okay, guys, we're here, a surprise visit. We're going to do an audit. Let's go through your bookings, all of the information that you have. We're very comfortable in that space right now. Quite frankly, we expect it. So anyway, we got your back.
Those are two important factors: compliancy and sustainability. That's gonna, you know, that's a good foundation for longevity right there. That's the formula.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is amazing technology, and we want to make sure that it's there and available to you long term. And as we bring in new things, you know, we're going to have that at the forefront. You know, we're growing, we're young, you know, we've still got to figure out some things, some of our international aspects of business in terms of payouts and some of those things we're still figuring out. But we're working on it. We got a good team of people here, and we're working on it, and keep going. The best is yet to come.
Awesome. Does anybody else here got any questions for George? Vice President of Limbic Art.
I know right now that CBD is unavailable, but obviously you guys have been in it from the long run, from the beginning. How was the effects and how was the CBD doing as a info boost? And I know we're working on bringing it back, but I just, you know, that's always a big topic is CBD, especially right now, the way that it's going worldwide. It's definitely the hottest market there is, especially in the health and wellness niche. Can you elaborate on that for us a little bit, George?
CBD, first of all, in the early days, we had CBD in our library. And I will tell you from my info boost on that, it was very strong, very powerful. It was very effective. The reason that CBD is no longer in our library is because of banking issues, quite frankly. And as we work on that, as we get to the point where we can do banking, you know, CBD is, again, different states have legalized it federally. There is just in a place where it's just not as clear as it should be, and as it will be. And so as we advance a little bit with our banking abilities, we expect we'll be able to bring that out. And we're working very hard to do that. I know that, again, I look at it in terms of just relief. You know, how many people are suffering out there that we can help? And again, we don't want to do something that puts the rest of the business in jeopardy. So we've got to have a B option, which we're working on. But right now, just because of those issues, we haven't done it. But I will tell you, when it was available, it was one of my favorite ingredients. That was actually before the Spark scan. So we're going way back in the early days of Limbic Arc. It would be interesting now that we have the system the way it works. It would be interesting to see how CBD ranks on a Spark scan.
Mm.
Yeah, I can see it being way more highly effective with the Spark scan being customized to each individual, you know? And that's why I wanted to ask you from, you know, the past, the present, and going into the future, so we have a good understanding. And thank you for answering that for me.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure, Steve.
Great, great. Any other questions out there? Malik, Matthew, Roger, JG, Julie, Karen, Sadiq. I think Karen.
Will there be a regular app for this, or is it always going to be web-based, or is that something that we're working on? Because a lot of people ask me if we have our own app and stuff like that. I said it's app-based, it's a web-based app, and that's just a normal question that people want to know because of technology and the times that we live in. You know, everything's got an app these days.
Oh, no, Steve, thanks for your question. That's a great question. The first version of this was actually an app that you would get from the Apple Store or from Google Play, and we were managing that. The reason why we feel like it was an upgrade to go to a web app, and the reason why is if you save that and use it on your phone, it functions kind of like an app, but now you can also use it on your computer and other things as well. And so far it's worked pretty well. Some of the advantages with the original app was just updating it and doing some of those things was a lot more cumbersome than what we have built with the web app. So we certainly see the web app as an upgrade, and we expect that it will stay in that format for the foreseeable future.
Hey, George, I think one of the biggest advantages, as we've had discussions in the past about that subject, has to do with the fact that we have an ever-expanding library. And if you had a standard app, to upgrade it and continue to add all those ingredients and formulas is a cumbersome maintenance deal. And so the web app makes that experience a lot easier. And in fact, I wanted to share with you one of the things that happened this morning. So I was helping someone using the family and friends application that we have, which is fantastic, and everybody should be using this and taking advantage of it. So this is a gal who, she was sharing with me, you know, a lot of her issues and everything. One of them is that she's exhausted. Of course, she has kind of flu conditions right now, and she's really tired and exhausted and everything because of that. It's really been taking a toll on her. So when we did the app, the friends and family, and got her in that way, did the voice-activated spark scan, one of the first things that came up the very top, the very conversation that we were having, is in the top 3 was an ingredient called adenosine triphosphate, which is ATP. That's what makes energy in the body. And here she was just saying, "Oh man, I need so much. I'm just so tired." And here, her body actually reached out to the library and identified ATP as one of the top 3 that her body was looking for. So this is amazing technology. It's kind of like you have this ability. Your body has the ability to go in and look and and when you go in and look at what your body selected, it actually tells you a story what's going on. And it's not surprising to the people who do that when they click on the names and they see that, oh my gosh, that's exactly what's going on. I hear that all the time, and I experienced that this morning with somebody, so I wanted to share that with you.
That's powerful right there. That's super powerful right there. We have some amazing technology, folks. So I just want everybody to, keep utilizing all the tools, keep experimenting, keep, learning and educating yourself about this technology, because we're going someplace and we're getting there fast. Is there anybody else with any questions?
I have one question for Ron Spence. We have a lot of people that, are kind of like in the community, and they have like family members that have suffered from cancer and things like that. And I wanted to ask you, is there any type of custom boost that we can have for like alkalinity, which would help people have like more alkaline in their bodies?
Well, first of all, and I have this conversation almost every day with people, particularly from our European affiliates. In fact, I had one this morning. There was one that I was communicating with, and they have an issue over there with people having cancer. And the first thing I always say is, look, we can't. That's the reason why you don't see an info boost in our offering, either on our quantum energy website or on the Limbic Arc website that has the word cancer in it, or anything like that, because we can't do that here. Okay, but what I can tell you, there's a lot of nutraceutical botanical ingredients that live in our inventory that historically have been effective for people, fighting cancer and using botanicals to assist in that. The best way is for the body to do the voice-activated spark scan, because the voice spark scan is going to select ingredients, botanicals, that your body's most requesting. And if it requests the botanical that has historical use in a number of areas, one could be anti-cancerous, we don't get involved in that. It's your body. See, we're trying to provide as a wellness program and give your body what it needs to bring it back into balance. Cancer is just an idiot light in your dashboard that says, hey, we got a problem here, we got to address that. And so we look at it, we don't want to get involved in any type of illness or disease or anything like that. We want to address trying to provide the body what it needs to become healthy and strong and well, improve the immune system. Now, there are ingredients. There's many ingredients on there that helps alkalize the body. If you become familiar with the ingredients by just clicking on the names, you'll see some of the language in there that talks about that. There's there's baking soda that's in there. Okay, that's one that's very effective as far as alkalinity. But all your botanicals are pretty much high alkalinity. The plant-based botanicals. We have a lot of herbs in there that will do that. But that's a good idea. We could put together an info boost for alkalinity. Haven't done that. I have requests every day. In fact, I'll show this to you.
There's baking soda that's
this is a stack.
Okay, that's one.
You can see this here. This is a stack of written formulations that we either have in the company or in the other website, Quantum Energy
that's a good idea. We could
this
put together
information
an info boost for
is based
alkalinity.
from
Haven't done that.
daily
I
scientific
have
white
requested
papers that I've
today.
received
In
that
fact, I'll
show
show this to you.
botanicals use
Baking
in
soda,
formulations
this is a
people have
stack.
used that have been very
Okay,
effective in their very
that's
series. And
fine.
we talk
can
about
see
those on
that
our
here.
conference calls
This
as well.
is a stack.
But we never talk
we're
about
in
a
here,
formula that addresses a certain issue. What we always do is talk about the historical use of the botanicals that have been used for that. That way, we're not making a claim that the formulation does anything. And I've said that many times. Hey, we can't guarantee these formulations will do anything, but let's share with you historically the botanical use, and then guys, you can connect the dots. So, in any event, that's how we do this to keep it safe. So you guys can do this too. For example, if you want to, and I've shared this all the time, if you have an issue that you want to address, and maybe that in this case it's pH balance or improving the pH, you can actually Google those terms and ask what ingredients, what botanicals historically have been used to help normalize pH. And then you identify those things. Most of the times you'll find most of the ingredients in our existing library. And if there's stuff there that isn't there, turn it into us. We'll put it in the new bucket that will be coming on in the future. And so that's the best way to address those things if you need something handled right away.
Awesome.
Thank you for that answer, Ron. And thank you, Malik, for asking that question. He actually asked it on my behalf because I have people that come to me because I'm a 2-time cancer survivor myself 6 years ago. And a lot of people that's here on the panel, they know because they're my personal friends before we even started this, like Julie, Karen, a few people on here, right? And you're right, and we can never, especially something as crucial as the terms with cancer, right? That's why he asked specifically for alkalinity, but he threw the cancer in there because we're in a private panel mastermind right here, right? But it's very critical, of course, to address it the right way because we cannot ever go there with that kind of thing with cancer, you know what I mean? Because that's so delicate. But so a couple of days, me and Malik been, brainstorming about the alkalinity thing, but you just gave us a pretty much good, direction and pinpoint and answers, and I appreciate that because that's always the biggest topic because it's such an epidemic now, and alkalinity itself is going to just not only prevent symptoms for that or help aid in that, but many things because once your internal pH is more alkaline, no sickness or like illnesses, nothing can even grow when your pH. See, when we're born at the perfect pH, and then we just acidify ourselves along the journey by ingesting, putting things orally in our mouth. So, that was a great answer, and I appreciate that definitely because that's a huge topic.
There's one other thing I wanted to share with you. Alkalinity, certainly, when you do research and all this, which I have many times, alkalinity plays a major component, or major role in providing the body what it needs. We're not focusing on a disease like cancer. We're providing ingredients for the body to bring it back to normal, to help in wellness process. If we do that, any label you place on any illness, disease, the body tends to start taking care of itself. Now there is a formula that we have on the quantum energy info.com quantum energy. We don't even phases out every once in a while. It's called the kick-butt formula. Okay. And the ingredients, the ingredients of that, and that's a big formula. The ingredients in there, most of the ingredients in that historically have been used as, people have had success as, fighting cancer. The primary in botanicals, a lot of when you do the research, and you'll find that they have the ability to do turn on apoptosis, which is killing cancer cells. It kills the cells. It's a programmed death of the cell. And with cancer, that's what happens. The pH of the cell is also a big component there. But the ingredients in the kick-butt formula, historically, most of those have been historically used in various stages of fighting cancer. So, and I'll share that with you, but not to make a claim that formula does anything like that. I'm sure that's an accumulation of ingredients in that particular formula historically been used in various research papers all over that's been assembled there that's been effective in the treatment and the fight against cancer.
Amazing.
Well, if you've got just a second, I'm actually just headed to another meeting, but could I make one more comment before I leave on that?
Great. Yeah, go ahead, George.
there are people who've spent a lifetime studying these things, and they'll study minerals, or they will study, alkalinity or vitamins or all kinds of things. And it's amazing. And you can use this as a tool to do exactly that according to your learning. But guys, look, I'm not that smart. You know what? Here's the thing is, as I trust one thing, that this body that God gave me is going to do everything it can to stay healthy, regardless of what I do to it. I might go, and eat something that I shouldn't be, or go into a place, breathe stuff that there's a lot of abuse that I put this body through. And I trust that my body knows what's happening. If I do my best and pick a boost, and then I go into the activated spark scan and see the ingredients that my body is aligning with, and I educate myself on those processes, then I don't feel like I have to be an expert, and eat something on everything. I can use this right out of the chute with my knowledge the way it is, and now it becomes a learning tool as much as a wellness tool, all at the same time. I listened to Ron, and he's put in a lifetime of studies, and he knows a lot about this stuff. But you don't have to have that knowledge to make this a powerful tool. Is just use it, and I educate. Pay attention to what your body is requesting. Educate yourself on that, and get some enlightenment along the way. And boy, I tell you what, there's a wellness path that anybody, regardless of your knowledge, can take. Studies, and he knows a lot about this.
In fact, just to share with what George said, he makes an excellent observation. We can, if we can place all the right ingredients out there, botanicals in the world, loaded with the information that they have, and let our body pick and choose, because it knows every one of us are different, and every one of us have different issues going on at different stages. And so having the voice scan as a functional tool allows our body to select from that. For example, that kick butt formula, I would suggest not ever running that, because there's a lot of heavy stuff in there. I would always want to run that over the voice scan, so my body can select the various ones in there that have the most use for me, because my body knows exactly what it needs information-wise. And so that's how I would use that. And I continually have the voice scan going on all the ingredients, because I'm convinced that's the most effective tool we have. And I've seen it play out in my own life where, I've had asthma for a decade, and not today I don't have that. And the only thing difference in my life I've been doing has been that voice activated spark scan. Now, did it happen overnight? It didn't. It took nearly 4 months for my body to solve whatever problems it needed to solve and bring it back into balance. But at the end of the day, that's the results I have. And so we all have different issues going on, and sometimes multiple issues. But we have a technology here with all the botanicals we have, and we're increasing that all the time. Just like when I looked at lomatium, and this lomatium was a mysterious one. It came up very high in my rankings, and as it decreased in importance in my body where I need less of it, that was a correlation between the fact that my body's symptoms for asthma totally disappeared. And so I connected dots, said lomatium. If I didn't have lomatium in the library there, I might not have had these results. And maybe it was that particular botanical for me that solved the problem. And that's the reason why we have the ever-expanding inventory that will continually goes on, because our body has more selections to try to find information that can help bring it back into balance.
I hear you loud and clear. I guess as my guys, as I say farewell and until we meet again, would be run your scans, take a look at what's in the library that comes up on your scans, and pay attention to it and learn from it. Boy, it's a lot of fun. There's more that will be coming, and it'll never be as fast as Ron would like it to go and other things. But you know what? That's okay. What we have right now, as I say farewell, is worth we meet again, every penny you're spending on it.
Take a
Oh,
look
definitely.
at what's in the
So
library.
use
Comes
it
up
with
on your
confidence.
scans and pay attention.
Anyway, guys,
George,
I know you got to
George,
go.
George,
Hey guys, that's George, Vice President, Executive Vice President of Limbic
and it'll
Art.
never be as
Glad to
fast
have you.
as
I know you got to go, George.
one
We
would like
appreciate
to
your
go.
presence,
Another
my
thing,
man.
you know what?
hey,
That's
Here.
George, just
what
know,
we have
just know
right
we
now.
want to, we want to know, we want to know.
I'll life you what can be sustained and what keeps it so it's a long-term tool. How's that?
There it is.
Vice President of Limbic
Have a great day.
Thank you,
Okay,
George.
guys.
Really appreciate your presence,
Thank you.
my man.
You know what? Hey, that's
Yeah.
I do have a question.
We want to know. Go ahead.
Awesome. That was awesome.
Yes, it was. As he was speaking, something came